Hail, hail, the Celts are here, and what the hell do we care now, guys? We've set ourselves up for another final at Hampden, with Brendan Rodgers earlier this season saying one sign of progress that he wanted to make this year was going on to actually capture a treble. Last year we did the double, of course, and we'd done it in resounding fashion. It was Super 6 for the Hoops, as we absolutely demolished Aberdeen by 6 goals to nil for the team that have been built up to be the would-be title challengers. I think we all know that's just really talk of they're probably going to get second, and it makes other people feel better if they're thinking that they might actually challenge us as well. And this victory 6-0 doesn't only just hammer Aberdeen and bring them a real reality check, but Aberdeen got a pretty good result midweek against another team you might remember. And to see the difference in class between those two head to head only a few nights ago, to then see the difference in class head to head between us and Aberdeen for all it's worth in full glory, unlike the game we had at Celtic Park a few weeks ago where, they were quite good at half time, made some changes, we weren't at complete full strength, and yeah, it feels like that the die has been cast and we can all see the natural order of the league as it stands now in terms of who's the best team, who's got the best players, and really who's got the squad to put their money where their mouth is and really go and get all the trophies that they set their sights on. But for us, this is opening up an important chapter of the season where we're going to be competing on a multitude of different fronts, different competitions. In the video today, we're really just going to be talking about what we've seen in the Aberdeen game, what we learned from it, and what might be foreshadowed from this game as well as the last couple that we've seen going into this crucial kind of run-in that we've got of fixtures at any point in the video. If you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We are this close to 10,000 subscribers and we cannot do that without your support. So if you do enjoy the content here, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoy the video, of course, and get into the comment section and let me know what your biggest takeaway was from Celtic 6, Aberdeen 0 in the League Cup semi-final, as it were. And yeah, let's just get stuck straight into it. Because I was eagerly anticipating, eagerly awaiting this game after what we've seen against Dundee midweek. Because the way the squad management, the minute management has been going on from Brendan Rodgers at Celtic over the last 3 or 4 fixtures, it felt like we were building up to a crescendo of getting the best 11 in perfect condition to take on Aberdeen in this semi-final before we come to face Leipzig midweek in the Champions League, which will mark the halfway point in that competition. And when this team sheet comes out, I've got really no reason to believe that this is not, in Brendan Rodgers' mind, the best starting 11 that we currently have. The main talking points from that, of course, is Alex Valle coming in at left back, Auston Trusy and Carter Vickers at the moment, I would believe, being preferred, the preferred centre-back pairing, but also the midfield dynamic. Captain Calmack coming back in to his normal role in that metronome position where he's dictating the play, alongside the likes of Rio Hatate, Arne Engels. And the front three, I think we know what the strongest front three is, although Kyogo and Ida do get their moments of maybe, overtaking one or the other. But I think predominantly we see Kyogo as the main striker, and, this was the best front three. I think we know that. So we'll kind of start with the defence and kind of work our way out, because for the most part, we didn't really have anything too different to what we've seen before, but Aberdeen were a little bit more deliberate. They'd learned something from playing us at Celtic Park of how they think they might get some success in this game. They like to have Kiskinen, they like to have Duke out there with our fullbacks and make it really hard for them to really advance up the pitch, and you really did feel this in the first half. But one thing that I did think was an interesting change is there wasn't that much pressure on Trusty and Carter Vickers, but more so it was on McGregor, whereas I felt like he had 2 guys around him whenever he was trying to receive the ball out of defence. And this was a slightly different tactic from Aberdeen, a slightly different situation for our defence to be in, as it were. And really throughout the game, Schmeichel, Trusty, and Vickers, and Trusty looked good in times. They shut down Aberdeen attacks. They were stronger than their 1v1s. They won their duels, all that kind of thing. But what this did is it gave them some different questions, some different problems in passing out from the back, because McGregor, yeah, we did play it into him and he was on sometimes, but he has his back to goal, or he's facing his own goals, maybe the better way of saying it, and he's got 2 men in close proximity. So we didn't really see McGregor free-flowing, building the web, knitting the play together all across the pitch the way we normally do. And this was fantastic to see the likes of Valle coming in here to be one of the solutions to help us get out of these situations, as well as Arne Engels. And really having Valle in here in this inverted fullback position where he still does like to come out into the wide areas, alongside Trusty and Carter Vickers, what this really seems to be building us is a nice off-the-ball kind of back-free system that with McGregor and Valle inverted, or it could be Taylor, let's see how things shake out. It does feel like it's Valle's place to lose at the moment, that giving it that kind of shield in the middle. And this felt like a better test I know overall we've finished the game with 70% possession, but in the first half it was maybe a wee bit closer to 60-40, and in the second half Aberdeen were just dead in the water, weren't they? But when we're playing teams where we don't completely dominate the ball, where it's like 80-20 for the full 90 minutes, it was good to see a nice kind of different solution to defending here, where it wasn't just two players we were leaving to recover defend, because normally we throw Johnson super high, as well as the inverted fullback and the mega press that we have from the forward areas. But it does feel that this gives us a bit more cover, a bit more stability, and it could be something that we take, and I suspect we will see this in the Champions League as well against RB Leipzig. But what this also kind of done, we did see a bit of an evolution in midfield. The last couple of weeks, McKeown has been getting rave reviews, and McKeown has been playing next to Bernardo typically. Bernardo's been filling in for McGregor, and McKeown wasn't doing like Engels normally, right? What we've seen from Engels typically is playing very wide right, and then either like maybe Engels might be out on the touchline when he receives the ball, and then he's linking up in this little triangle with Alistair Johnson and Kuhn. Maybe Kuhn is right out on the line, Engels is in close situ, and Alistair Johnson is going to come and join them. But what we see from McKeown and what we've seen from Engels in this game is a bit of a tactical development, is that they're staying much more into this kind of channel here. And with McKeown and Bernardo, it felt like McKeown was always going to be close to Bernardo, but had the freedom to drive up the pitch, to progress play, to break the lines, all that kind of thing. And that's what we got from Arne Engels in this game, where he could be much more himself, he could be much more natural, because him hanging out here all the time, he looked great, he started very well, of course, but it's not his natural bag, and I think we can see that now. And having this kind of box-to-box role, which is really what he did throughout this game here, really seems to suit him a lot better, and it really felt that we got a lot more out of him. There was some lovely occasions in this game where Engels was coming back, and he would beat McGregor into the cover and win possession back for us, turn it over, pass to someone else. And honestly, his engine for the the minutes he had in this match did surprise me, did impress me. And I think we're going to see a nice development here with the McGregor Engels midfield. Very similar to Itate, where we normally see him really close to Kyogo and joining the front press. But our press was actually a little bit different as well, because between Dyson, Rio and Kyogo, we weren't making it too difficult for the keeper and the centre-backs to get on the ball. And we were, I don't want to say a coiled spring, because we were very much in full frontal, action, all-out attack in this one. But, Kyogo at times would be a bit deeper. It felt like Hatate was maybe leading the press in different spells here, and Kyogo was allowing himself to not be marked, to kind of fall out of the picture for play, and then, trying to arrive in a bit later, like we've seen for some of his goals, when he's normally on the very edge of the defence and we're breaking away, he gets picked up by one man, if not two, kills the space for him, and it's really limited his opportunities. But it felt like there was a wee bit of a change here, where he maybe starts a bit deeper, he sees how the play is going. Is Kuhn going to come inside and float it in? Is he going to hit the line and drive one in? Is he going to play Johnson on the overlap and then cut it back? And it felt like, not just with Kyogo, we got a little bit of this from Dyson as well, the hat-trick hero, of course. But it felt like there was a bit more of, let's not just press. And this brings me back to one of Brendan Rodgers' often used quotes when he first got reappointed, was, in comparison to him and Ange, where he used to say, I don't want to be flying by the seat of my pants, I want to be in control. And it feels like he's got this press under control now, but it isn't just flying by the seat of your pants, run everywhere, get in people's faces, just cause some chaos and then capitalise on it. It was a bit more concerted, it was a bit more controlled. And I think this kind of, the off-press kind of thing that we had, as well as the development of Engels, this kind of back three off the ball kind of thing that was on the go as well. Aberdeen couldn't handle half of this. They set up to play the same game that played a few weeks ago. And, I think, like I said in the intro, you can really see that this is normal for us, playing weekend, midweek, Champions League, semi-finals, 6-pointers in the cup, in the league and all the rest of it. And we can go game to game, week to week, rotate a few people, manage the squad, and 6-0 humping these guys. This is like normal for us. Whereas Aberdeen, this is the first time, and I know they were seconds for a few years for a while, but didn't really feel the same kind of vigour from them that we do now. But this is the first time that they have, played a very important 6-pointer midweek, and then they're coming into a semi-final at the weekend. And, it was just too much for them ultimately. I don't think Aberdeen were really that bad. But what this is a lovely tactical development from the manager and from the squad that we've seen progress throughout this season, with the new signings, in particular Trusty and Engels, and Valle, I guess you could say as well. Kind of, not just acclimatising, but being moulded into the shape, and in the shape being upgraded for the qualities, for the contributions that they had. Now, honestly, guys, there was not a bad player in this game. Everyone stood out for their own reasons. Kuhn was phenomenally electric in this game, and it was clear to see. I think once we got the triple sub, you can see who Brendan values ahead of the Leipzig game. Carter Vickers, Valle and Kuhn, the first 3 subs. I think that means they're all nailed on to start. Probably not much of a surprise for Vickers and Kuhn, but I think that's a tip-off. That's a signal that we've all been watching out for the whole Valle and Taylor thing since Taylor's return from injury. And then later on we get, in that move, Carter Vickers comes off for Scales, of course, and, you know, it makes you think that Vickers is definitely going to be taken care of. He's definitely going to be wrapped in cotton wool to prepare for Leipzig. And I think he will start Trusty there as well, you know, but he did play 90, and sometimes we've seen that with some of these guys. Like Taylor played 90 against Dundee, didn't start this game, Valle did, you know, so you can't say you know for certain what the manager's thinking, but we do try and read between the lines on it. But someone was saying to me in the live chat where I did some acts on for the game as well, the post-match, the bulletins and all that kind of thing, great fun, and you know, very thankful for those guys for having me on to guest when it works. But a lot of the guys in the comment section of that stream were saying that Valle has like already said he's not up for staying. He's happy, and Barca kind of want him back and all the rest of it. So, you know, that's something we'll probably need to revisit in future videos as the season goes on. But, you know, Engels for me and Hatate were the real catalyst to this game, because where the goals came from, where a lot of them came from, was us breaking into space and us really putting them on the back foot, make them face their own goal. We weren't dealing with 2 banks of 4 or a bank of 4 and a bank of 5 really camped in on their box, and we were having to come up with really ingenious problems to solve in terms of how to open them up and get shots away. But one of the main ways we were able to bring Aberdeen into the situation where it gave us space to play in behind is that Hatate and Engels were going all over the pitch. And, you know, there's a few occasions in this game where Hatate would get surrounded by a few players and he would just keep the ball really tight into his body. He would take 1 or 2, 3, 4 touches and he manages to wriggle out of them. And when you've got players like Hatate and players like Engels, because Engels was, you know, getting by McGrath, was getting by all these guys, no problem at all. When you've got midfielders that can take players out of the picture, when they get on the ball, somebody comes up to confront them and they can just take them out of the equation. It then forces the rest of the team to move and try and confront the ball, or they're in 2 minds and 2 decisions. And I think that Engels and Hatate were really crucial to this game. I'm always really happy when I see Hatate clock 90 minutes as well, because I just think that's a real development that he needs to go through. He needs to be a proper 90-minute player, and he performs for 90 minutes. I think although he got 90 in this one, maybe after 70 or so, he kind of ran his race a little bit and we'd ran out of subs. And that's maybe part of the reason we got him to play the 90 minutes, but I'm always happy to see him go on and do that. But this performance from Daizen Maeda has been long coming. I said on Axom again when I was sitting with those guys that if you go back and you watch Daizen at Yokohama, he was the top scorer in the J-League, scored like 24, 25 goals that season. We bought him, they won the league, he was player of the year and all that good stuff. And that hat-trick he scored is very Yokohama Daizen. Cheeky balls in at the back, take 1 or 2 touches, put it behind the keeper, arrive at the back post, just be in the right place at the right time and just be calm, cool and collected and put it away. And we've not seen too much of that from Daizen. Even the assist that he makes for Kyogo, we've not really seen enough of that from him either. So last season we had a great moment with Daizen when he came back from injury. And all the fans really applauded him. We're all so happy that he came back so quickly. And it felt like we got a better version of Daizen after that. This last couple of games, we've all been saying it looks like Daizen's feeling the effects of the international break. And he probably deserves a rest. He probably needs a rest. But he's not had that. He's been chucked into the deep end. He's ploughed through. And, you know, for better or for worse or whatever. But it feels like he's really came through that. And again, he's maybe developed. He's maybe just kicked up a level with the progression that he's had himself at Celtic and in the team and the challenges he's had to overcome over the last couple of games where he does get that time and space. He knows how to make it count. He knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. He makes sure that he squares it for his pal to fire it into the net. And Daizen takes the man of the match for this. I don't think he gets enough of these. And that's not because he deserves them and doesn't get them, but it's because he's so often just missing 5% to make his performance that level that we've seen. And with Valle, with Trusty, with Engels, even with Kuhn, when you see players break through that barrier, sometimes we can see a real transformation and a real growth in them, and then that kind of thing become, you know, like Kuhn, his performances now have become normal. He's broke through, he's doing this on a consistent basis, and we're getting the benefits of that. And I really do hope that this is a seminal moment in that regard for Daizen Maeda. But again, we're on this channel saying another game where I really do feel that the manager has won the game here. Fair enough, like the players have all put in a fantastic shift. 10 out of 10 performance, 8 out of 10 floor for the whole team, no doubt. But in terms of the development of the tactics, the development of the starting 11, I do feel that this in the manager's mind maybe is the best 11. That all comes down to him. He's adapted from the last game. He's tried to read what Aberdeen are probably going to try and do coming into this game. He's called it a blinder. And really, Aberdeen were nowhere near us for the majority of this, or for the entire game, really, to be honest. But like I said, they didn't play bad, but they just weren't on our level. And hey, that's nothing to be ashamed about. We've been at this level for a while, and we're trying to push into an even higher level. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. The next video we'll be covering on the channel is a preview for the Leipzig game. On screen now some other stuff that we've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Don't forget to get into the comment section on this one. Hail, hail, and Mon the Hoops.